Cayman Voices was a dream that I had for several years now. It's about taking the power of storytelling to embrace our own collective history as a people. Through our individual stories, we're able to see the common thread that binds us together as one. One person's personal journey has become our collective culture, heritage, and history. This series will show people from all walks of life sitting down with me as the host and going through their life journey. Sometimes there are unknown elements of their lives, but ultimately we're going to walk away having learned something new with every person that we sit down with. I guess I would explain it as an exploration of our story. I'm naturally curious about people and their lives, so Cayman Voices is exciting and allows me to capture this for everyone to enjoy. We are seeking out Caymanians, multi-generational, as well as some who have moved here to, uproot their entire lives and to make this their home. This dream would not be possible without some sponsorship, and so I'd like to thank the DART organization for stepping up to the plate to ensure that we're able to deliver regular monthly content for our viewers to enjoy. So sit back, kick up your feet, turn up the radio, relax, and listen to Cayman Voices. So this edition of Cayman Voices brings me to the beautiful district of West Bay. We have Mr. Kenneth Hurlston here with us, and he's going to tell us about life back in the day when he was a young boy growing up. So tell us a little bit, Caymanians can ask who you for. That always has to be the first question. Who your mama was?
All right, I was born here in West Bay.
Yes.
My mother's name was Iwe or Selena Ebanks.
Okay.
But my father is his name was Cleophas Ebanks. They call him Captain Tom. That's
Okay.
Dalmeen Ebanks' father. Dalmeen and half brothers.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes.
his father and my father, different mother, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I started out at over there where we was living in the little house out there on by Hennings Lane, it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
There was no road there, it was just a track road those days.
Right.
And I used to started going to school, Miss Izzy School.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Izzy School was right down on the back off Powell Smith Drive. And we could walk, I could stay home till I hear the bell ringing. And I remember Mama telling me, say, don't go, because them children will pick at you. Wait till you hear the bell and then you go straight to school.
Okay.
My mother used to tell me that and I used to do that. And,
Yeah. Were you an only child then for your mother? Or?
Only child at that time, yes.
Okay. Uh-huh.
My other brother, which is Eugene Hurlston, he's 7 years younger than me. So
Okay.
I was just like 4 or 5 them days when I was going to school there.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Mrs. School until I was like 6. And I left from there then and I went to the town hall school. I think Mrs. had second primer on ABC. And town hall had just those days had junior A and junior B.
Okay.
Which was the same thing, but
Yes.
Anyway, I went from one to the next and I was there in junior A, junior B, there for a year. And in those days, it was only 6 years you go to school. They only had 6 books. It wasn't like how it is now. You had 6 books. So you start at 7, and when you were 14, you were supposed to be in 6 book. Then you could, then they had some kind of classes after that, that you could take, but it wasn't like no more school. That was it.
That was it?
That was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were expected to grow up pretty quickly in those days?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you had to get your things together in those days.
Yeah. Okay.
And I stayed there, but 1 year I got out of the primary school, a small school, quick, went over to the town hall, which is the library in West Bay there now. That used to school 6 classes. And we had Miss Alal Smith was the head teacher, Miss Genevieve, Miss Iris, Miss Hope, all of them was teachers in the other classes. And I stayed there and worked my way up until I got up to 5th book. When I was 5th book though, I was 14 because 1 year I didn't really go to school that much at all. Me and Louis Cito was fishing all year.
Okay.
And I didn't get it in my book, me and Louis Hyde.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Aye.
Me and him grew up together like that. So
Yeah.
was fishing all year, so I didn't get it in my book. And and I stayed in 14. I was in fifth book. So that time, I started to see too hard. I couldn't go home from school. I had to go look for my mother, and she was in somebody's ground, crawling on the ground and pulling bush. You know, we had the ground trying to get a shilling, or it was pound, shilling, and pence those days.
Right.
And trying to get a shilling or a couple of sixpence or something to send me to school. So I said, well, you know what, I got to stop and help my mother, because I didn't have no father. My father would never really done anything for us.
Yes.
When I got to that age, he wanted me to come and stay with him, leave my mother, but there wasn't nobody to help my mother. I told him I couldn't do that.
Yes.
And through that, he didn't really give me nothing. And he had all kind of land. He got rid of that. I didn't get 1 square inch or nothing anyway. I was worried about that part. I stayed with my mother. And
yeah.
I quit school, like I said, 14, then to go to work, to try to do something. You know, it wasn't much work, but to pick on something, do something to help her. And I started, well, in those days, Cayman was bad with the prejudice business and stuff like that. Cayman Black all too was bad. And I would be riding bicycle for some of the white people, because I was the only little colored guy in West Bay then.
Oh, yeah?
But I was respected, and I had manners to everybody, you know what I mean? I always said, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, this and that. Everybody was glad for me for that. And the white people then would give me a job to carry out the invitations for the dances and stuff like that.
Okay.
And they would give me like 4 or 5 sheets of paper, and I had to ride around from one house to the next and get the people to sign it, and they would be having a dance in the town hall, which is the library.
Okay, so you were a little delivery?
Yes.
Yes, wow.
And they used to pay me a couple of shillings for that, you know, so all that helped.
Yes.
And then I after that I started to, what did I do? After that I started to work on the road. When they started to build the road through the island. From town hall over here they started, and going right through West Bay, went all the way up to the north side. And I worked with them about 9 months. When I stopped working with them, I was up by the big bend just before the barn in the north side, a big bend just before you get to the barn there. And anyway, I was working there with Floyd Bush and the next house here.
Tell us a little bit about that, because, you know, my generation, we don't know anything about Cayman, not even having any roads. What was involved in actually putting that road through? That must have been interesting.
Okay. We had a company by the name of Lima. They also did the airport. I worked on that too.
Okay.
But their office, their main place was right where Ben Ross, where that shop is by Ben Ross house on the corner. After you cross that Stryton place, that corner, that store right there, we got a closing thing. Okay. That was the office for Lima Construction. And they had all their trucks and all their stuff there like that, and they had the Barber Greens and everything, you know, for the roads and for everything. And I was working on the truck that used to grease the equipment. I was working with Floyd Bush. And we used to grease all the trucks and grease all the bulldozers and things like that. That was our job, keeping everything in oil and grease. Right. And I worked with them until I got up to the north side. At that time I was like 17 or so, a little more. But like, when we get back to the roads, in those days, you know, there was nothing was track roads. It was sand and mud and potholes and all like that. And they built the road right straight all the way up to there. They made that road right straight through Georgetown, right straight up.
And where was this company from? They came in from?
They're from the States.
They're from the States.
Yeah,
okay.
Lima Construction. Yeah, and we built that road right up through there, and I quit. When I left them, then I went and took my passport out. I got my passport and police record and stuff like that. And I remember that was when I was like about 17, because I got the call after that to go on a ship with a company named Young. The ship came into Cayman, and we all went up to spots. I remember my mother getting Captain Ali to carry us up there, because I had to go up there and join it. And we went up to spots and joined the ship. I think it was on a Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, that was after when they came here. I joined them, must have been in October. I think around about October, when I was like 18 at that time. And I went out, I was out like about 4 months. I was out 5 months or so. I came home, I think, in February. And because they was scrapping the ship. So they was taking it off the route and runs. I went around to the Panama Canal and up the West Coast and that, and came back through the canal and went back up again. When it was going back, it was going to scrap it. So it was going up the west coast, and they took us off in Panama and sent us home. All of us, because they said what they were going to do was carry it to Japan with a skeleton crew, which means less people as you could go with.
Yeah.
So they didn't have that many to fly back.
Right. So they flew you from Panama to Cayman back in those days?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
wow.
we had to go to Miami.
You had to go through Miami.
Yeah, catch BWA.
Okay.
There was BWA, Laxa, and all like that. So we had to catch BWA and come back here then.
All right. What airline is that stand for now?
BWA, British West Indies Airlines.
Okay.
BWA, yeah. And then Laxa,
Now tell me
Laxa
something.
was out of Costa Rica.
A 17-year-old getting on the ship, what was that experience like?
Oh, well, it was, I was on water all my life, though,
Yeah.
Fishing and stuff like that. But when I was 9, 10 years old, I used to fish all the time with a man named Mr. Isaac. He used to come look for me 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we go fishing with him. And I tell you, Joe, one of the biggest surprises to me, I used to go out fishing with him, and we used to go all about up to Haiti Bay. Those days, there was no lights.
Oh, boy.
No lights.
Yeah.
How we knew where we was by the rises in the land. We could watch the rises in the land.
Okay.
And that's how we knew where to stop to fish.
Wow.
One light was hanging up those days, and that was right where Ira Thompson had his little shop. I think it must be where the, what Ira Thompson place named there now, right on the waterfront, where his daughters had there. It's upstairs now and thing, but in those days were great trees and thing there. And he had his little shop, Thompson, Ira Thompson. And he had a little light hanging up there. And sometime when you stay in West Bay, you could see the little light flash like that. That was the only lights along the whole island.
Wow.
Yeah. And anyway, my surprise one day was fishing with Mr. Isaac all these years, and 9, 10 years old, he'd come look for me sometime, go fishing with him, especially on the weekends, no school. Mom would say, Mr. Isaac, come, and I got up and gone out. Those days, the track roads, walk out, hold your hand there, you couldn't see your hand in front of you. No, because the trees was growing right over the roads, Cows on both sides of the fence. Anyway, I didn't know he couldn't swim. And I was all about with him, and I was so small and all in the night and all about. How I know he couldn't swim? One day, for years afterwards, we came back and we had quite a lot of fish, we had plenty of fish those days, old wives, squabs and grunts, and we were down cleaning it, and he had a kind of bad temper. He got vexed quick. This one wanted fish, and that time fish is 6 pence a pound, and 6 pence a pound, and not like it is now, and things like that. And this one wanted this fish, this one wanted that one. He said, hold up now, and he cut his finger. So he got vexed. And somebody said, I want this one, that. He said, I want this and that. He took all the fish and threw it in the box and carried them down to the stream, dumped them in the sea.
Oh, gosh.
Everybody had to go up. But after he cleaned up his boat after that, after everybody was gone, he went back in the sea and he was taking his foot and raking his fish up, raking the fish up.
Okay.
And I said to him, Mr. Isaac, why don't dive
and get him?
He said, so now I can't swim.
Oh, my gosh. That was a shock to you?
That was a shock to me because I was all about this hour the night, all about all the
With somebody who can't swim?
Yeah, and I was 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Well, luckily you never gotten into trouble that you needed him to swim.
No, that's true, And I said, oh, but then I dove it up from then. I dove it up and got the fish, and I said, oh.
Yeah.
But I never forget that. But anyway, talking back about the company, they were young. They sold out the ship because, like I said, was going to scrap it in Japan scrapyard. And I came home, and I was home for a couple of months. And this was when Southwell and them was also here, started. And then in 60, this was 59, and I started really young. I came back home something like January, something like the 1st of 60. Was home for a couple of months. I got a call in with Southwell in. And I went away with Southwell on the, somewhere around about the 2nd or, I don't know, something of May, 1960. And we flew to New York. But in going to New York, we went through Newark, New Jersey. And to put all some of our things in Newark. And when we got to New York, we didn't have no suitcase.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, I can't remember this woman's name. We went and stayed by her place. The next day we went up to the office, and they told us that before we leave, they would have our things up there. They would get things from New York. Anyway, they didn't get anything, and we left from there. Then the ship had gone up the west coast. What they done, they took over the Albert G. Brown. They took the Albert G. Brown over because they was bringing out a ship from Japan themselves called the Old Saturn, a new one. And they was going to send the crew up on this Albert G. Brown rather than flying them all up there and all that.
Okay.
Yeah. So they took the Albert G. Brown over, and they sent us then back to the Albert G. Brown to catch her in.
So that was the other ship that you...
That was the ship I got off.
I got off of.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But they took it over because we were going up the West Coast.
Right.
Picking up scrap metal, you know, to go across to Japan, to go across the Pacific. Anyway, they sent us to that. Then I tried to catch it in Vancouver. It had gone from Vancouver and it gone to Seattle, Tacoma. And we caught it in Seattle, Tacoma then. And we left, we left Seattle, Tacoma, I think it was somewhere around the somewhere around it took the 4th or something. It took 26 days going across. So around the 4th of May. And I remember going across the Pacific. It was flat like this, just big rolled seas like. And we were fishing at sharks and all kind of things in the Pacific. I remember the engineer named Captain Colby Jackson. He got a bad cut on his arm with the wire hooking sharks and things. I forget that. And we made it across to Japan because one boiler was up and down expansion, triple expansion. And one boiler would be working and we take parts or not fix the next one, keep going like that.
Okay.
And we got into the scrapyard in dry dock in Japan, went into Curie. And the scrapyard that we went to, we had to leave the ship there, so we stayed there the night. And on the 1st of June, we went over to the hotels in Curie to wait for the Old Saturn then. And she wasn't finished, and we had to stay in Japan 1 month. We leave there on my birthday, the 30th of June. And I never forget that, leave there on the 30th of June. I almost got married in Japan.
Really?
Almost.
Found yourself a little Japanese wife.
I keep wondering what would have happened if I had stayed in Japan.
I know.
But I
So
could have got married.
what was it like in Japan back then?
Those days?
Yeah.
Oh my God. In Japan those days, you know, you be walking down the street and you got a woman coming down the street with 2-3 daughters behind her. Hey, you boys sung, one girl sung. Hey, you boys sung, one girl sung.
Yeah. They were looking for husbands.
Yeah. and this bar.
And I'm sure you guys looked good being from the Caribbean. They probably never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
A couple of the guys on the ship that had went with us had been to Cuba before bringing out other ships. This was my first time. A couple of us, first time. And we had a restaurant at a bar we used to go to called Robin Bar.
Okay.
Everybody hang out there.
Yes.
And then another one that we used to go to called Neptune, I think Neptune Bar or something like this. And they didn't have no food there. So the girls that was there, nice girl thing, you know, we go there and drink and thing. And then they would order food for us. But the girl that bring the food was her and her brother came to bring the food. So one day, me and JB and Jewel, somebody was out walking around the place, and I see this girl. I said, oh wait, that's the girl that bring the food over for us out there. So she went into this hole in the wall, So I went and followed her, and that was her father and mother restaurant. They were the ones who used to cook then and sell it, right?
Okay.
So I said, well, yeah. So I started talking with her, and it was only a couple of days after I was there, you know. I started talking with her, and asked her if I could take her to the movies because I found out she used to speak little English.
Okay.
Because she used to go to school in Hiroshima, where the Americans and thing was over there, you know.
Right, from World War II.
Yeah. She used to go to school there. She could speak a bit of English. So she said, yeah, we could go, but her brother would have to go. And I said, okay, nothing wrong with that. So we would go to the movie some night, and the movie would be in English, and the writing in Japanese. Sometimes it would be writing in English and the talking in Japanese, like that, you know. So after about 4 days or 5 days, I was kind of close, and her parents decided, say they was going to Hiroshima for vacation. And she told me, said she wasn't going with them. Well, they told her she didn't go, they were locking her out of the house. Anyway, I didn't know nothing more about it. This was like a Thursday. On a Saturday evening, I was at Robin Bar, and the Mama Sung, we call her Mama Sung, and they used to call me Baby Sung because I was so small. She comes and she said, Baby Sung, phone. So I took the phone, and her name was Mariko, I remember that. She was Mariko, she was calling me, asking where I am. I told her where I was. She said, well, why you don't come where I is? I said, well, I thought you had gone with your mother. She said, no, I wouldn't go. She had left and went to a place. This is how they would turn bad in those days, you know. She left and went to a place we had, must have been about 20 girls or more working. working girls, then, you know what I mean? For prostitutes, they call them, right?
Prostitution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she left and she went there and she called me and told me where she was. So me and Albert Brown from Georgetown and Clarendon Seymour, they're all dead now.
Yeah.
We went, I said, let's go, maybe I got a place to go sit, the girls sit, plenty of girls, and that's where we go there, place girls. So we went, and when we got to the place, the front of the place, I looked dilapidated. But when you step in the door, you had to leave your shoes right there. It was an aquarium by the door, was slippers, you couldn't go in front of your shoes. So we got in there, and this lady come, and she must have been about 30, I guess, that was the mama's son daughter. And she says, yes, sir. So we said, well, we come in the girls. She said, yes, let the girls, come. So we put on the slippers, and we went, sat down in this bed in this room. It must have been about 10 or 12.
At that point then, did you know what you were in for? You knew that this was a madam's house or whatever?
Well, I suspected that, but I was looking out for Mariko.
Right.
You know, and I once said she was there. She told me, so I didn't ask no name, but she said that these girls.
Okay.
About 10 or 12 of them sat down in the bed, and we sit down and look at them, this and that. But I don't see Mariko, so I say, any more girls? She said, yes, more. So she called them, and they come, and she come in, Mariko came, so I got up and went to Mariko and sat down with me. And then the guy said, well, that's how you do it, we're not staying. I said, that's your business. I know I'm not going nowhere. And I stayed there 1 week there. And the other people that was out to the hotel in Curie with the captain and stuff like that, the captain had his special hotel, and all the rest of them were staying in another hotel. So if you wanted money, you had to go to the captain and get money and stuff like that.
Right,
Because we were going to be there for like a month.
Yeah.
So I was up there then for, must have been over a week, me and her there.
Okay.
When we found out her mother had come back, then I brought her back, and her mother went back there and talked, and this, that, everything was okay. And I was planning to get married, we were going to get married. We used to go shopping and all this kind of thing. And I was 19, well, I wasn't quite 19, I was 19 June, the end of the month. She was just 17 or 18, something like that. And anyway, I decided, I said, Ken, you can't get married and stay in Japan. Well, you know, that's not for you now, man. So I said, how am I going to get out of this now? So I told her, I said, well, we got about 2 weeks more, so we'll decide and get married. But I know it was only like 2 or 3 days more and she was going to leave. Right?
Yeah.
So when the ship was about to leave the next day, I told her, I said, oh my God, they called and said the ship will leave, so I got to leave tomorrow. That's how I got out of that one.
Yeah, so you couldn't plan no wedding that quick?
No, I couldn't get married in that short of time, so I got out of that. And I used to write, we used to correspond. I went back to Japan, different places 2 or 3 times. I didn't go back to Cuba, but I went back to a couple of other places since that. But we used to write things, and I said, you know, I got to put this down because I never see her again. But I keep, up till now, I keep thinking, I said, wonder what would have been like if I had got by stay in Japan. You know?
Well, you never know.
I would have been, I probably had to go work like on a dry dock or something like this and do something. I would have got in probably the language too, you know.
Yeah.
But you know.
But you know what I always say? You're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you were supposed to be in Cayman.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah.
So then after that, then we got out on the ship and came down on the ship and left on my birthday, June. We came down to the Panama Canal. And excuse me, all this time, I had one pants, one on the
You
pants.
never did get your suitcase and stuff?
No,
Wow.
one shirt, one pants.
Yeah.
I used to work, I was messman, started messman. I used to work with the messman jacket and my pants. And then at night I washed my pants and the shirt and I was sleeping in my underpants I got. Came back down to the Morrisville, Trenton, New Jersey there. I went up to the office, called up to the office, no, they not got the suitcases yet. Went back to Venezuela, lowered with iron ore, come back to Philadelphia, not got them yet. About, I don't know, 2 or 3 trips or something like that, about 4 months when I got my things.
Wow.
But the joke is when I was in Japan and I had no clothes, I had to go buy some pants. But the Japanese is so short, right? And when I bought the pants, it was done short, I stepped over water, I couldn't hold my knees.
Oh my gosh.
That was the funniest thing I had no clothes.
Yeah. You had some adventures then.
Yeah. But anyway, worked out, and we came down, I got my things then, and stayed on the ship then over Southern for quite a while. Then I came home, and was home for a bit, then go back again like that. I sailed about 8 or 9 different ships, you know.
So when you were out now at sea, you would keep in contact with your mom? You'd write her letters? Or...
Oh, yeah. Those days when I started in, I was only making $90 a month. Yeah. And I would send home $50 for my mother. And I would keep 40. For $40, I could go and buy a pair of shoes or a pair of work clothes, a suit of work clothes. and probably go ashore and drink a beer or two, and come back to the ship and have a little money to gamble with on the ship. $40. Today, $40 can't buy a pair of work
Trust
shoes.
me. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
I could buy a suit of clothes those days, have drink, and have money to gamble with. $40.
Wow.
I used to send home $50 to my mother.
Yeah.
And that's $90 a month.
Yeah.
We'd get $90 a month. Where that was now? Let's see which way to go. Whenever, if it was into the States, if it was in the States, I only got $90. Out the States, we would get $110 a month.
Okay.
And I walked with him till I stopped sailing in 1970. But by that time, I went from messman to wiper to fireman, fireman to junior engineer. I never did go either. I skipped either and went to junior engineer. And I was sailing junior engineer then on the ships. And the last ship that I was on, the George Champion, the Frisia, I used to sail third engineer on her in Europe. I couldn't sail it in the States because I didn't have the license. So when I got off, the last ship really was the Phoenix. I got off the ship, one ship, and I said, well, I was going to come up to New York, and go sit for my license because I need to catch up on refrigeration and electronics. But it was November, December time when Christmas lights was on and partying and this and that. So I told him, I say, I'm going to stay up in party, man. I go back out in January and come back in later. And I said, okay, you just put on this scene. Now you had enough of this. That's how I was, At that time, it was like 10 years.
Yes.
And my lifespan runs around 10 years. I do anything for 10 years.
For 10 years.
I get out of it.
You get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was married for 10 years. I got out of that.
That's your tolerance level, 10 years.
Yeah, man. I went to sea for 10 years. I had a charter fishing boat for 10 years. That's
You were talking about this lady in, was it New Jersey, New York, that you guys went to?
Brooklyn, New York.
In Brooklyn. Where was she from?
Cayman Brack.
She's from Cayman Brack.
Yeah, but she had this house that she used to take, Mr. Rich, he was a Cayman Bracker,
Yes.
But he used to work
in
the Alton Rich and him brother. But he used to work in the office in this National Bulk Carrier, well, at that time called Southwell office in New York. So that's why he would be hiring people from Cayman all the time. He was the one who looked after people, getting people from Cayman.
Right, yes.
And then they used to stay with this lady, I can't remember her name. But we used to stay there, then we would take the train, go up to the office, process us, and we come back and stay there till the day that we got to leave then and go to wherever, we got to go to Europe or we got to go to the West Coast or to catch the ship. The ship they were joining.
Yeah. And the shipping companies seem to have taken pretty good care of you guys. If you wanted certain certifications, they might help you get, different.
I came off the ship with all my discharges and things like that. I don't know where it is now, but I got all my discharges off the ship and stuff like that. I didn't get my third engineer license, but at the end I said, I want to stop the sailing. Yeah. And if I had got third, I would want to get second, I want to get first. And I decided to stop. But I wasn't sure I could have done it. I mean, I was doing the work anyway. But I didn't have the paper. So I decided, that was 1970. And I don't know if I should put this in there, but in 1970, I was on a ship with a chief engineer named Sawyer. And I'd sailed with him before. And the first engineer there was a Greek. And Greeks never liked us West Indians, they never liked us at all, And got guys from Turks and Caicos on there, and this first engineer, Greek, would be pushing them on the bottom and push them. And they're big, strapping guys. I said, excuse me, man. I said, look how strong he is, man. I said, I make this man push on the boat like this, man. He didn't like me telling him that. He heard about what I was telling him and all that kind of thing, so he got it in for me. But you see, I never used to work with him. I was junior engineer, and when I go to work, they work. The chief engineer would call me and ask me to work for him. So I used to do overhead welding for the chief. I used to do this and that. I used to do everything for the chief, And anyway, I don't know what happened, but one night, Powell, Powell was the pump man. Yeah. Well, anyway, the captain, the Sparks called me and said to me, he said, Ken, come up. So I went up to the Sparks, the radio operator. I went up to him. He had all our passports and things. He said, Ken, they're paying you off the ship when you get into Aruba. Now this was coming out of not Mobile, out of oh man, this was coming out. Tip end of the tongue. And it coming out of the States. And we going back to Aruba now.
Your major ports a lot of times seems like it was Alabama, Texas was another area that you guys would come out of the
some
States.
people used to go into Texas. I know been into Texas, but Mobile and Alabama, Philadelphia, Trenton, but like that, the West Coast, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But most of the old ships used to go into Philly and New Jersey, Trenton, you know, but I'm there like that. Yeah, but anyway, we was going into Aruba now, and they said it would put me off at Aruba. I said, well, I went up that big and I pleaded with the captain and I cried to him. I said, Cap, I don't want to get off in Aruba. I said, I go get off and I go back to the States, because at that time my first wife had left Cayman and coming up to the States to Mr. Irwin Hayes, them, her family. And I was going to get off in New York when I go back there and get married up there. It might not hurt me so much. And anyway, so he put me off there. I said, well, Cap, I don't want to get off in Aruba. Anyway, I said, well, I told the Spark, I said, if I get off, somebody go in with me. I can't find somebody with me because I don't want to do this. I found an excuse that I refused work. All the guys on the ship tell me, Ken, nobody not refuse no work because there was no work. That's what they found out to tell me. See, they couldn't find out that to fire me for it. So anyway, I said, okay, good. Well, I know it was the first engineer. I went to the chief. I said, Chief, what is it all about? He don't know. I said, you don't know, Chief? And you're the man I work with? I went up to the captain again. Captain said, I don't want to hear that. And that's what they said from the engine room. I said, oh my God. Anyway, I said, well, I can't have somebody with me. That morning I got up and when I got into the ship, now popped out that night. Next morning I was going to go to get the guy at the Seaman Club to find a place to meet there and wait for me for the flight out, coming to Cayman. I went and I got one piece of 16-inch pipe, galvanized pipe, inch and a quarter pipe. I don't know if I should put this in there. But.
Tell us how it was. Well, I mean, listen, you just told us how you experienced prejudice just because you were a Caribbean man.
Yeah.
So
well,
this was life, right?
Yeah, this was life. I didn't do. And I said, well, I can't find somebody. So I went looking for the first one about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I couldn't find him nowhere. I said, man, he gone show because he know I won't be looking for him. Anyway, he had slept in the cadet room between the chief room and the steward room that we had hide. He wasn't in his room. I went in the first, second, third room. Anyway, I said, I can't find his first, but I know where the chief is. So I went up to the chief room, went through his office, went through the little cupboard thing. He laying on the bed sleeping. I took the piece of pipe and I said, Chief, get up. I mean, I take his foot off the bed. I lick him down across the knee with that. I'm going to break his leg or what? And he looked at me, what are you doing with this? He said, I lick across the side of the head. And then he said something, I lick across the side of the head again. He grabbed the phone. I grabbed the old phone. I licked him across his arm. I popped the old phone off and I lick him again one more time and his eyes rolling in his head. I didn't want to kill him, but I wanted to beat him, make him on the sun's thing go. I could have killed him. I didn't want to kill him. I left him then. I took the phone, threw it out through the porthole, threw away the pipe, and I picked up my suitcase and I walked off. I got off the ship around about 7:30. Something 8, I went to the Seaman place. The guy told me, said, well, the agent come in a little bit, must wait. So I leave my things there. And I went downtown, sat in a bar, have a drink. When I was there for a while, Dobby from West Bay, and one of the guys come there and said, Ken, how you doing? I said, all right, man. He said, boy, they find the chief, you know. But I know they wouldn't find him until after 8 o'clock, because that's when he gonna look, the first going to be looking for him to find what kind of work he got to do, right? Anyway, yeah, they say you must have beat him up. I said, me? I saw him. Anyway, I stayed and I said, you know what happened? I better go back down. So I went back down to the Seaman place. The guy told me, he said, man, the police come here looking for you, saying that when you come, must make them know. I said, well, where he is? He said, right across the street there. So I just walked over there, went across the street, and they asked him about it. I said, no, I don't know nothing about the man. The man told me to get off the ship, so I got off the ship. It's not said, the captain said he saw you down there. The captain had come aboard the ship drunk. I know that was a lie again, because captain said, well, he was drunk. That was what captain said. Captain Thomas, he was named. Anyway, they going on. So the chief of the detectives there told me, say, this was like a little detective place. because in Aruba in those days, it wasn't a big lockup. Well, the hell Cayman, Jamaica was. You know,
Right.
they lock up here, but it said it really big was Jamaica.
Yeah.
And they'd send you from Aruba to Curacao. That was where the big jail
Okay.
was. So anyway, the chief of detective told me, he says, look, listen, we don't care nothing about you. We don't care nothing about the chief. We don't care nothing about none of this. We got more than we need to deal with here. But, you know, already come through us now. So you cannot leave the island again under 7 days. So meanwhile, we're going to have to be investigating this and checking this and that. So then I thought about it. I said, you know what? Sure, man. Like they said, that if you tell us what happened, you can't leave under 7 days. And if you don't tell us, you still can't leave under 7 days. So I said, you know what? I told them what happened. When I told them then, I had to write it out. I write it out. They said they don't believe that. All right.
Okay.
I took it and threw it up, throw it away. Then I had to write it out again. I told them I beat the man with a piece of pipe. And I told them what they had done me and all this and that. And what caused it. You know, they took that then and had me there and they sent me, carried me over to the other side of the island to a lock-up place. Like a little lock-up, like how George would have been. And over there I found guys that was locked up for riding without lights or getting in an accident and stuff. So they were playing dominoes and playing cards, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I stayed over there. I had lose about 5-6 pounds on the ship, working so hard in a couple of months. And I put it right back on over there.
Eating good food and lock up.
Yeah. And then when I had about 7 days, they scammed me in front of this judge. And the judge said to me, he said, you want to go home, Sonny? I said, sir, I want to go from Tamakime. He said, okay, tomorrow morning the agent will come and get you and carry you home. So that was the end of that. But I heard after that they took him off the ship in the States and fired him because he couldn't give no account of what had took place. Because you see, they had been lying on top of me. There was no refusal. There was no work to refuse. And the thing is, when you're junior engineer, you work till midday, Saturday. And then the rest of the time is yours till Monday morning. So I went up to uptown New York or something, I was there. And we didn't come back until Monday. When I come back, then they want to say that I refused work. But the other guys told me there was no work here. There wasn't no work. It was like, so they only did that, you know. So anyway, I had to beat him for that. I had to beat him. I had to beat him. Yeah.
So in those days, you had people lying on you same way in the workplace.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Oh, they would do anything, man. Especially them Greeks with us, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So after that, then you came back home.
Yeah. So after that, then I came home and I said, well, I guess that's the end of it now.
Yeah.
Miss Gwen called me one time after that and said to me if I want to go back out. I said, no, Miss Gwen, I finished. I'm not going back no more. But she called me one time after that, a couple of months after I was here, and said if I want to go back. I said, no, I'm not going back. I finished with it. So then I started to work then, hotels and stuff like that. I worked at the villas.
Now you said you were planning on getting married. Did you get married?
In Japan?
No. You said you were going to go to New York and get married to someone. Who was that now?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You got married to that person?
I got married. She came home.
Okay.
And after she came home then.
So she was from Cayman? She was
Caymanian, yeah.
Okay.
She was Boise. You might know Boise. Charles Bush. Boise. Her sister name. Her name is Donna Mae.
Okay.
She got a house right up down Willow Franklin Drive by the corner there.
Okay.
But me and her, after 10 years, me and her had to separate because I had got a job at Astro Marine out of Houston. We got married. And we were married together. Going on okay. Had 2 nice kids, Therese and Kim is my daughters by her. And got a job in Brazil, working with a company out of Houston, Astro Marine. Floyd Bush and Mung and all them, because they didn't know I was engineer. So they asked me to come up and do some work with them. And must bring somebody, so I had Richard Wells up with me too. But then we had to go through Costa Rica and about it like that. Got to Brazil side. So anyway, that's the best job I had in my life. But I had bad luck with the one from them. And I keep thinking I should have stayed with that lady in Japan. Maybe that what caused it. I don't know. But
so anyway, she didn't want to go to the States with you?
Who?
Your wife?
No, she couldn't go. She had 2 young children.
Okay, so she
stuff like that. But I didn't go I went to Brazil.
Oh, okay.
To work. I had an 18 months contract. Was supposed to do 9 months there. Come home for 1 month and go back and do the other 8. But they were paying me, this is the best job I had in my life. They were paying me $1,100 a month base pay. They were giving me another $1,100 or $1,200 a month for living allowance in Brazil. Cruceros. The first 2 months I was up there, I sent home $450 US. And the next 2 months, $450. I sent home $900 a month out of the $1,100. The other $200 they took and put it in a checking account for me in Houston. I never had to touch it. I was living off of what they were giving me there. And most of those other guys that was there, they had apartments and things to pay. I was living in a hotel. So if I went and got food, I get a world check, I came back to the office, I get my money back. That was the best job I had in my life. When I left here, the house that she's staying in now, foundation was there, filled in, ready to do the plumbing. I went up there and I sent home this money, sent $900 a month. Calling, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, they're doing that, this getting done. Okay, that sounds good. When I got 9 months in, I was going to come home, but my company said to me, you better stay as long as you can because we might lose our contract with Petrobras, which is a part of the Brazilian government. But this company was Astro Marine, they was out of Texas.
Right.
Anyway, I said, okay, so we stayed in and we ended up getting 11 and a half months. I mean, Richard had to come home because the other guys were there, longer guys, so they stayed to clean up. And when I came home, I got to the house we were staying in, and before I went away, we had all the plumbing stuff on the house floor. While those houses up on steps, you know. When I got to the house, I see this all the plumbing stuff still there. I said, well, wait, what happened here? I drove up, went up to where the house is. Man, when I get there, I almost fall down. The whole house grown up in bush, not one block laid, the same thing as like a while after everything grown up.
So all that money you were sending wasn't building the house?
$1,100 a month for 9 months.
Oh my gosh.
No, for 11 months. And mine, that was 78, 79.
That's
big
good money.
Big money them days.
Yeah.
She was working Galleon Beach Hotel. I went and looked for her. I said, well, what happened with this situation? Now, what happened? You tell me what you were doing this. I said, well, how come you never done nothing with the house? Do I hear that and this, thing like that? I said, what about the money? Where the money is? I need the money to build. She's not got no money. I said, you not got no money. Oh my God. Right away I thought about 3 different ways how to get rid of her. Yeah, honest to God. But I said, okay, let me find out what really going on here. When I come to find out, she was along with this guy, Alfonso. You might know a fellow named Alfonso Green. He did now, he did. But he was working there at the hotel too. She must have gave him all the money because I had up found that Alfonso and his wife, and her had a big fight up at the airport and all that I heard.
Oh my gosh. So that was scandal them days.
Yeah.
Jeez, peace.
Yeah, man. I found
Good thing Mall Road wasn't around then. She would have been front and center.
Yeah, you had some stuff to put together.
Yeah, trust me.
Man, anyway, I found out all that after that. And I said, well, you know what? It don't make sense I do away with this woman because what I can do with my 2 kids? I said, they're young still. And I said, what I can do with them? I have to lie to them the rest of my life. Right? And I said, no, I don't feel like doing that. I said, Ken, you know something, you're 40 years old, but you can get out of this.
Yeah.
You can start. And I just quit. I went out, my mother put my things out there. I was taking care. At that time, then I started to work at Henry Drew's house in Snug Harbor. And he had a boat, big boat, alongside the dock, yacht. And I went aboard her, and I took out everything I needed and put on her. And I pulled her off in the middle of the canal. And I tied her head off and I spun off and I ran an extension cord to the house. And I stayed there for 2 weeks, then we'll come back on land. And every time they come down calling, I look through the thing and I see them, I'll lay back down. After 2 weeks, they left me alone. Then I got my divorce through desertion. I got my divorce through desertion.
You just left her alone. That was it.
Yeah, and I got my divorce through that. It didn't cost me nothing. But the house now, a piece of land, I wanted to pay her for her share of it, so I could get a bill to something for the kids, because it wasn't the kids' fault.
Yeah.
I know there's never the kids' fault like that, so I get something for them to stay. So she's not giving me that, she's not making me get it. I said, well, then I'm not giving you mine. I had another piece of land up on Pleasant, that I wanted to build to give her. I said, well, you're not getting mine. So then I said, all right. I left it like it was. When she went to get a mortgage then to build it on it, she couldn't get no mortgage. No, that wasn't right done. I took my share And I put in my 2 children's name that nobody could do anything with it until they was 21 or 25. I don't remember exactly what years old. So when she went to get a mortgage, she couldn't get no mortgage because the children was too young for the pot. I went back to her brother named Deborah, and I put Deborah in charge of the 2 children so that she would get a mortgage to build a house. Because I wanted the children to have somewhere to stay.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, it wasn't a fault to them. So children always been my weakness.
Yeah.
So then that, then they, I don't know what happened to it after that, but she got it fixed. I think Jimmy Powell, they must have built it or somebody. She got it built up and stuff like that. So I was glad they had somewhere to stay. What they done about it after that with the paperwork, but I had that in black and white that I did that. So. But she put them against me, tell them I was done nothing from and this and that. I put them through school. I put them through school all the best way I could. I never had no big job. But I done all I could do from put them through school until I done from until each one was 14 years old, 18, whatever I had to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Those
I
things
went.
are
She
tough.
carried me to court one time, and the judge looked at me and says, "Mr. Hurlston, you have to pay the money for this." I say, "Yes, sir." I said, "I'm always paying," but I said, "I can only pay when I get, sir." I said, "I'm not going to steal no money to pay nobody." He said, "No, well, I agree with that." I said, "Well, when I get, I give, sir. But I can't give when I not got." And I said, "That's what she expects."
Right.
So no come out of that. So that was that. But then that was got out of that situation. Then I got along with when I was working at Villas of the Galleon. No. Yeah. Was that before that or after that? No. Before that I worked at Harbour Heights Hotel. This is after I quit the road.
Where was Harbour Heights Hotel?
Harbour Heights Hotel is right by where the jungle is. Just above the public beach. I worked there for 6.5 years as maintenance, maintenance man. I used to make all the water for that hotel. Across the road where the jungle is,
Yes.
it was nothing but swamp on that side, you know. And I had a house over there with a desalination plant.
Oh.
Yeah, and I used to make the water. This is after I come off the ships. This was in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And I used to work out, this was the early 70s. Because I used to work the hydrator, the derator on the ship too for making the water, you know. And I used to make the water and that pipeline coming across the road over to the cisterns. And they only had one unit at the time when I went there was this unit. Then they had this unit on the bottom was halfway up. Asphaltic, I think was building that. And anyway, before I left it, I built up this one and then I built up the third one in the middle too. But I was over there making water and pumping water across to the hotel, so I kept them in water. I worked there 6.5 years.
Wow.
Even after I leave there, people used to come ask me, where this line is, where that line is, where the next thing is. But I had know the whole ground, everything, you know. So, so this was right after I stopped in 1970 from the ship. Yeah, then
Okay.
and I started working for 6.5 years. But at this time now, when I came back, I went to work Villas of the Galleon. I was working Villas of the Galleon. Just after me and the wife separated. That's where I met my ex-wife, Tamara. She was just 16 years old when I met her. She had just come out of school too. So me and her I was kind of old for her, still a little older. But me and her got together and stuff like that. And we ended up getting married, and that's where
You had two girls with her.
that's where Kenesha and Krista come from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and her was together 8.5 years before we got married. 'Cause I said I would never ever get married again after what this woman had done me. But then after that, I said, you know, it's better for the kids. The kids is my children are my weakness, you know.
Yeah.
So I said it's better for the kids. They look better than they gotta get married. So when I told her, I said, we're gonna get married, because she had told her mother she was coming to live with me, but I didn't want to get married. But she was still coming to live with me. Anyway, we were going on okay. We was pretty happy, and we used to go this way. I used to take them to the States all the time, so things like that. And anyway, this about 8.5 years we were together before we got married. And we got married, was married 23 years.
Wow.
And the other day she told me, she said, we're finished.
Okay.
I said, well,
but that one lasted longer than 10.
Yeah,
That one did good.
That one lasted longer.
Yeah, that one did really good.
Yes. But you know, we had our ups and downs, and of course, I done wrong, but she done a lot of wrong too.
Yeah.
I never put on this.
But she was so much younger than you. I'm sure that probably played a large part.
Well, it did in a way. So anyway, it ended up that she told me we were finished, and I said, well, okay, we're finished. And
that's it.
Yeah, we got out of the house there. I mean, I was going to, when we said we were finished, I got a house out there. I got an estimate on it. It was something like about 400,000, 420,000, something like that. So she told me she had still owe $130,000 to Scotia. Because when we got married, the land was mine. I'd put her name on it, you see, so that we could get a house built, because she had a steady job in the bank at the time. And her father was building it too. Her father built it, so that helped us. It was quite a bit cheaper and all like that. And I told her, I said, well, okay, you owe $130,000, 400, that's 270,000. I said, give me 135,000, and I'm out of here. I said, you know, I can do better than that. Maybe my grandchildren might get it one of these days. So then that's why I did it the way I did it. But, you know, I signed it over to her that I could stay there. I put in my own thing for the divorce, that I could stay there as long as I live. I have a room upstairs that I can stay there. That's what I did. And I have done black and white up till today. And
did you get married again after that one?
So after this one now, listen to this now.
You look like you like to get married, you know, so I'm wondering.
After this one now, I was out of this one, well, quite a while, a couple of years, Brad. And I met this girl, Yolanda. I met her one day in Foster's. And I'd seen her before and things like that. She's a Cuban. I'd seen her before, things like that. And I'd been on her for about 30 years. I never really had spoken to her that much. So I started to talk with her and talk with her and talk with her and talk with her. We were going together, but about 3-4 months, I guess. 4 months or more or something. And I said to her, I said, well, or 4 years, yeah, 3-4 years. I said to her, I said, well, let's get married. So I ended up, me and her got married then.
Okay. And you like to be married then?
And I like somebody with me, you know.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I like somebody, I like company.
Yeah.
You know? And the other day now, she's complaining, say, she needs space. Well,
how many years ago? 10 years yet?
No, we were only married about 4 years, 5 years.
Oh, okay.
4 years. So now she told me she needs space. Now we was over by Elizabeth's house. Elizabeth McKee's sister. We was around there. Now we went to Cuba and we bought a house. But I put a couple of $1,000 into a house over there. She had more than half it, so I gave her the balance to buy the house. So we bought a house in Cuba. And then her mother had her house, so of course we used to go down and stay. But after Cuba got so bad now that there's nothing there, you know, year before last, so I go down there, I could go to the store and buy water, put my house, fill up the house with water, whatnot. And good drinking water, good distilled water. This last year I was down there, you can't buy a bottle of water, you got to boil water. I can't take that boiled water. You got to boil the water, otherwise you get sick.
Yeah.
And then you go to the store and get bread, you get 2 bread. If you go get eggs, you got to wait in a long line when you get up there. If you get in there, you get 4 eggs.
And this is all, you think this is all because of COVID?
No, I think this is because of the embargo the United States got on top of Cuba.
But that embargo been in place a long time.
From the 60s, say that.
Yeah.
From the 60s, that's what I'm saying. Why they won't move it?
Well, I mean, before, like you said, things were good. What happened
it was never good in Cuba.
Well,
it was better than it is now.
Right. So what happened lately, you think?
It happened now because Cuba can't deal with nobody. They can't deal with Venezuela, but you know Venezuela got bad itself too.
Oh yeah, Venezuela.
And then Mexico and stuff like that, they used to deal with. They can't deal with them because of this embargo. That's why some of the young people are all flying out of Cuba. Right? It ain't nothing for you to get.
Well, I heard since the pandemic and there was no tourism money even going in, there was nothing.
I know, but all that added to it, I'm sure. All that added to it, I'm sure. But the embargo, the people can't get to be free to do what they want to do, man. That doesn't sin what they got on top of them. United States fought with Russia, they fought with the Japanese, none of the Japanese best of friends, they done this, Japanese kill them, this kill. Why they don't take the embargo off of Cuba? Cuba's next door, they leave the people alone. Cuba not doing them nothing. Make them try to survive better than what it is, but they can't, you know, only people that can go into Cuba now is communist people like Russia and them, like I know they can start, Russia start going in, you know. Then they got to have something else to complain about. But it's them causing it on themselves, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Russia not got money again, I guess, to help him because he used to help him too.
Yeah, but the other day, Russians destroyer ship was up in Cuba, right up in there. But man, I see now this wife now she gonna leave me, and for what I asked, I say, what have I done you? I hear that she's saying that I keep touching her too much, and I ask about sex too much
Oh,
and this
Lord
and
have
that.
mercy.
I'm 80 years old. How am I gonna do too much?
You got time to find another one, you know. You can go another 10 years.
But if you do it once every 4 months, you know what I mean? You wake up in the morning and you're saying, well, what happened? You got hard saying nothing in my wife in bed.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? So, anyway,
Oh,
me and I were talking up there today, you know. So I said, well, how can you do us this? How can you do this to us?
Yeah.
So, me and her was really good. I thought she was. I thought this would be the end. Me and her was spending time together. That's what she told me today. She said she got wrong with me because she had 3 bad deals herself. If I think about her deals that she had were really bad.
Yeah.
And then she had kind of said well, she was forgetting about the man business too. So me and her got together and she said the reason because she found me different and stuff like that. And we said, well, we could probably make it to end our lives, you know. And that's what I see where I see. That's how I like it too. But now, I don't know now,
you never know, it might still work out.
yeah, now we're still talking. She said she still loves me and this knowledge got, but she needs space. But this thing, I don't know what is. I don't know how.
But you know, if a Spanish woman telling you she needs space,
it treat me bad, you know.
Might be something else going on. But anyway, we won't get into that.
Yeah, I know. But I tell you the God's truth. I'm not saying it couldn't be happen, but knowing her, I don't believe it.
Talk about then. You talked a little bit about your career. Now how old are you now?
81 now.
81. Wow.
Yeah.
You look very good for 81, I must say.
Yeah. Oh, I was.
I mean, you don't look 81.
Yeah. I had a fishing boat too, you know. But I will show you the boat. I had a fishing boat called Deep Sea Fox. I used to do charter fishing. I did that for 10.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I did that for 10.5 years too. I was on heavy equipment. Me and my brother had some heavy equipment. But we did that a couple of years and I turned it over to him and I went and got a gas station. A gas station at West Bay. I had that for an option of for a year with an option of 5. But Rayburn Farrington. But he was charging me so much for that Hussein had Alice Station in Georgetown. I don't know you can remember all about that. You might remember that. Where the post office is now, where Cayman Voices is. At a gas station right in that corner there called Alice. It was Alice gas station. And Hussein had started that. Hussein had that whenever he started. He was paying us something like $650 or something like $1 a month. And he was pumping like something like 60,000 gallons of gas a month. Them times. I had Rayburn gas station over here and he would charge me $1,100 a month. And I wanted pumping like 30,000 gallons of gas. And no space to sell anything else was not much. I remember it was only store he had there in Macarthur. Had jewelry and that. He told me, well, give it to me. The place that I had by the gas station was like this. Put a couple of bag of chips and a couple of drinks in the fridge. I had to be there from 5 o'clock in the morning, breaking down them big backhoe tires and all kind of thing. To make ends meet.
Yeah.
You know, to try to pay him. I remember taking $3,000 on the account. I went to Miami and buy some things. When I come back, the account couldn't even pay it off. I sold drugs and paid it off. Yeah. And I asked him time and time again, I asked his sons, Charlie, I said, Charlie, talk to you, Daddy. This is too much money charging me. He said, Ken, I can't run but I talk to the old man. I went and talked to Mr. Rayburn. You got to do better than this for me. He looked at me, he said, Ken, I can't live off of less than this. You know? Anyway, I said, all right. He had a heart attack one time. So I said, okay. No, his father had left him all kind of money and all that kind of thing with Charlie Farrington. Anyway, when the year was up, I gave it back to him stock the same way. And when I gave him the keys, I said, okay, check your business. And I said, now, you take these keys, and the next heart attack you get, you carry this gas station with you. He could have went like that. I said, no, don't do it now. They're going to say, I kill you. Wait till I go away from it. Wait till I go. And you know, I never spoke to him since. And time he tried to talk to me after that. That time he tried to talk to me, I turned my back and walked away.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't talk to him ever again.
That bad blood then.
I didn't talk to him ever again. He died and I didn't speak to him after that.
Oh.
No, I can't stand them kind of people, man. I mean,
My
they're too
goodness.
craving, man. Too, you know.
Unfortunately, we got a lot of Caymanians like that.
Yeah,
I
I
tell
know,
you.
like him, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
I'm a person that
That's
I
very
get
sad.
when I get the hatred for them kind of things, you know. Yeah, man. So,
As you look back in your life, what would you say is your greatest accomplishment? You're talking about how much you love your children, so I'm guessing it's probably your 4 girls.
well, I would have to say my children, yes.
Yes.
I love all of my children. I love all of them dearly. But,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you about all the places that I've been and all the things that I've done because
it's a lot.
to go through all the places that I've been, it would keep you here till night. And they tell you all these things, you know what I mean, about the Persian Gulf, you know, about this kind of thing like I see.
Yeah.
All like up there now, the Persian Gulf now, you can't go there now, you can't go in there. You go in there, you get shot. When we was walking, we used to go there and go off the ship, play skittle, go ashore and all that. Like nobody, all the kind of thing was different.
Wow. Different times.
Different place. Yeah.
What's been the biggest change in Cayman that in your 81 years that you've seen? And do you think it's good or bad?
It's bad. But if I had 60 years ago, 65 years ago, if somebody had told me that Cayman was going to be like this today, I would have told them, I'd say, you're mad. You need to go to the madhouse. Nobody could see that. But it's just like nobody could see. I could have been a millionaire too.
Yeah. The whole world has changed in 60
Yeah, I could have been a
years,
millionaire when I was going to sea. I could have sent home enough money to buy half the 7 Mile beach.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Those days. Because nobody was buying beach land. Everybody wanted to go on the other side of the road because the beach land couldn't grow nothing.
Yes,
Nobody was putting houses
You
there.
just didn't see it coming.
Nobody saw that coming. That's right,
Yeah.
yeah. But the thing is, I think, okay, let me put it this way. The whole island had to move because the world was going more all the time, getting more all the time. So you couldn't keep the island stopped completely. But I think they moved too fast with it. I think they moved it too fast. They should have done it more slow than what they done. I think they moved it too fast. And you see now today there's nothing happening here for Caymanians no more, you know.
Yeah.
It's happening now for foreigners. It's not happening for Caymanians. No matter how you think about it, it's not happening for Caymanians. Caymanians might get enough money to build a little house or something, but the bigger part of the thing that's happening here is for foreigners.
Yeah. I guess the question is, you know, how could we have slowed it down given how fast the world was going? I mean, when you think about things like smartphones and computers and even in the past 5 years, the things that you can do with technology that 5 years ago you couldn't do.
Yeah.
If you don't keep up, you get left behind.
Well, yes, but we wouldn't have got left behind. They were saying that this is the island that time forgot. But believe you me, we wouldn't have got left behind. We would have been we would have been further ahead right now because people would have respected us more for the way we was. But
I
anyway,
appreciate you so much.
yeah, like I said, I a lot more than I could sit down and talk to you about, but I got to talk all day. But all the places that I've been, the things that I've seen happen, and the things we went through, oh my God, so much. But I'm glad for all the sailing. I'm glad for all the things that I've done because to me it brought me so much discipline.
Yes.
You know, I saw the way people live this way, the people live that way, all of these things. If I hadn't been sailing, I would have never known or see that. I've been all over the world, round it a couple of times. Hardly any place you can name right now that I haven't been.
Wow.
You know, be hard for you to name some place that I haven't been. That was a seaport.
Right.
You know, maybe inland, the middle, or somewhere different. But anyway, on the seaports, anyway, you could think. I've been here and there. Been all over.
Yeah. Well,
but
thank you, my dear. We
thank
really
the Lord,
appreciate
I'm
it.
still here. I'm
Yes.
still here. I'm giving the Lord thanks, you know.
Absolutely.
I had a close one the other day.
Okay.
I had a close one. I'll tell you this one. I had a close
Yes.
one the other day. Well, I believe in the Lord for a long time. I'll tell you this too. I gave up cigarettes 19 months when I was on the ship. I was out 24 months that time. Or 25 months, something. I'd given up cigarettes for 19 months. Because I wanted to put down the cigarettes because I came to the conclusion that if you smoke grass, you get high. If you drink alcohol, you get drunk. You drink too much water, you get bellyache. You smoke cigarettes all day, you get nothing. And I had enough nothing. So I didn't need no more of that. So I said, well, kid, you wake up in the morning, your breath is bad, it is like, give up cigarettes. There's no good to you. It's an artificial thing that people make. So I said, okay. 19 months I gave them up on the ship. Coming home, 1963 November. I flew from Rome, paid off the ship in Rome, Genoa. Went to Rome, caught the TWA from Rome to New York. Got in New York, must have been around about 2 o'clock, somewhere around 2, after 12, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. I met Hurlston. He was up by his sister place in New York, and he was coming home too. Well, those days we had to use BWIA again, Laxa and stuff like that. There was no jets thing, prop planes. So we leave New York on Eastern around like 2 something in the morning. We got to Miami around about 5 o'clock or so, something like that. Well, when we got to Miami airport completely different than what it was those days. And when we got there, everybody was moaning and crying. No bar was open, no restaurant was open, everything was locked down. Everybody was moaning and crying, They were having the rehearsal of President Kennedy's burial on television. That was November 63.
Oh, yes, okay.
Anyway, Hurlston said to me, he said, boy, what a place, Cam, got a drink. And he was done half cut. I remember I had a little bottle of Seagram's VO and one of Gordon's gin in my coat pocket from coming across with the TWA. I said, come, we got one little drink. We went around one column and I took the Seagram VO out and just tasted it. It was only a drink.
Yeah.
I just tasted it, gave it to him. And he drank it. And I reached in his pocket and took out a Slim Jim cigar and started to smoke. After 19 months, giving them up. I come home and I smoke one cigarette today, then tomorrow, then the next day I smoke one again like this. I said, Ken, man, you haven't given up cigarettes yet. You got to give them up. I went home. This is true now. I went home, I knelt down by the bed, and I prayed to the Lord. I said, Lord, please help me give up cigarettes one more time. I'll never touch them again. I said, you know, Lord, better than I do, that I really want to give up the cigarettes.
Yes.
I said, Lord, you know this. Please help me. Good. That was in November. All Year's Night. See me here. Down by the Blue Horizon Club, down by Mr. Hoskins, down by my brother club, Dalmean Club. Blue Horizon was. We was down there, and we were eating Austrian grape trees, drinking some beers, and because so many people around the club. It was All Year's Night. About 5 minutes to 12, All Year's Night, something said to me, said, Ken, don't make New Year catch you smoking. I took the Winston, I was smoking Winston, I took the pack out of my pocket, and I threw them away. I said, well, you come back to me because I'm not coming back to you. Just like that. I remember playing. And I must have been there for another hour or more. After 1 o'clock anyway, we were leaving, and something said to me, Ken, them cigarettes not come back to you, you're not going back to them. I never smoked one since.
Wow.
I couldn't do it on my own, but the Lord helped me done that. I knelt down and prayed. I said, Lord, you know better than me that I want to do it. And he helped me done that. I never smoked one since.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's why I say now, one time I was come home from the ship, we were drinking, partying, went to Mike Doan place, little rest bar, had a tear gas gun in my pocket and dropped on the ground. But through a guy named Wallingford was actually at me. I told him, leave me alone. He wouldn't stop. I broke off a Heineken bottle and I rushed for him. And the guys grabbed me and the pen dropped on my pocket, but it was tear gas. I brought it home, you know. And I knew if it hit the floor, it was going to go off. So as it dropped, I bent down to pick it up, but it went off, caught me in the face. Coming up in the bar, right? I staggered out the door, followed in his car hood, and I went out there. When I woke up, I went back to tell Mike, I'm sorry. When I went back, he had the cash register hugged up still. Everybody else had gone.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted big in my fingernail, dropped out his eyes, but he wouldn't turn that cash register loose. I went to tell him, say I was sorry, but I mean, they were good friends.
Yeah.
I said, Mike, he reached under the bar and grabbed a 38. He said, Ken, out there from place. He put it to my head, bam, bam. Never went off yet. He took and stuck it out the window and bam, out the door and went off. If you think I'm lying, you would ask Ronnie or ask Carlton, either one of them can tell you the truth. They couldn't understand it. So Lord,
wasn't your time.
No, had a mission for me. The other day, I was out fishing, not knowing anything wrong with me. I decided, well, I know I had a bad valve in my heart from Dr. Kriegel telling me, but according to her, it was not bad. It didn't need that much operation and I got. Well, I have a pacemaker that I put in Cuba, because I had to put a stint at one time in Cuba. So the other day I woke up and I felt a little dizzy. And I said, I wonder, manager, can I check a doctor? I went to Cayman Bay, they done an ultrasound, they done a cardiology, all thing there. Set it in the Sherry's. 4 days time, Dr. Benoit called me. I didn't know him before that. He called me, he said, Mr. Hurlston, come up. I need to talk to you. Well, I went up there, drove up there, and I was in the living room, in the waiting room. He come out, him and the nurse, and stand in front of me and shake his head. I didn't know. He said, come. When we go into his office, he said, how you get here? I said, I drive. He said, you drive? I said, yeah. He said, you know, you're not supposed to be walking. He said, right now you shouldn't even be walking. Anyway, got in his office. He said to me, you heard of sudden death? I said, yes, I've heard of it. I've seen it. He said, well, that's right where you are now. He said, you could shut down in a second right now talking to me. Not in a minute. He said, in a second you could just shut out. He said, sit down. I sat down. He said, you got 4 valves in your heart. And he said, your aorta valve is the main valve. That's where the blood coming through for your system. He said, right now the outlet on that valve is about the size of a pinhead. He said, you know what your heart doing right now to push blood through your system? He said, the walls is even getting tight. I said, well, doc, you frighten me now. He said, I don't want to frighten you, but I'm telling you, he said, I came out there expecting to find somebody in a wheelchair or with a walking stick.
Wow.
I didn't thought I'd find somebody like you. God did what he looked at and think, right? I said, well, doc, you got to do something about this now.
Right.
He said, well, I can't do it right now. I said, well, you tell me I can shut down in a second. What kind of story is it? He said, about 3-4 days time. I said, well, you tell me 3-4 days, you tell me I can shut down.
You might be dead.
I said, okay, doc, that's okay. I'll hang in 4 days for you. And on the 4th day, he called me. I went up on a Friday and checked me for clots. Was not in cabinet here on Saturday. About 7 hours operation. It stopped my heart, took it out, put a valve in it, put it back and started it back.
Wow.
So I give back to you for 20 years. And here I am today. That happened on the 16th of December, and he told me I could come home on the 20th, but I came home on the 22nd.
Wow.
They're good. I bring them up on all 2 shows after I came out. Every 5 seconds somebody's there, you need this, you need this, you want this, you want that, you need this, you want it. Hey, when he told me I could come home on the 28th, I said, no, doc, I need attention, so I can stay. I said, I get a good one. And I stayed 2 more days there just for that. Yeah, man, they're good. Hey, they're good up there. They know the business.
Wow.
So, Lord gave him another chance again. That's what I'm saying. He have a mission for me. I know he have a mission for me. I can feel that. He haven't told me yet. I don't remember him telling me, but he have a mission for me. He'll give it to me, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. Whether it's to end up being a preacher.
Yeah.
Or what it is. But
I'm sure this story will be a testament to a lot of people. Trust me.
Yeah. Everything I'm saying here is facts. It's not one word of lie. All facts. But the Lord is there. If you believe in Him, you have to believe in Him. Because He knows whether you believe in Him. He knows better than you, whether you believe in Him or not. You have to believe in Him for it to work. I know that from the cigarettes. I tell you, I promised Him that, and they went for me like I never smoked one before.
Wow.
And every time before, if I took a drink, I wanted to smoke, or if I ate something, I wanted to smoke. This time,
that's it.
Like they never existed.
Wow.
He helped me. He knew I wanted to give it up. That's the thing. He knew I wanted to quit.
Yeah, you had the willpower. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hurlston.
Got a little piece for your business.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you. All right.
I'm glad. Okay.
Thank you.